Matty and Esther, who would have guessed their underage grandparents?
Hey, you got us for a bonus episode every Monday. We break away from telling you our stories about parenting life and then we dig into the dirt of other people. Because you know what the best kind of
Tea is?
tea, what's what I'm looking for? Turbulence.
Drama
in other people's lives is the best kind when it's not yours.
Yeah, not related to you. Fabulous.
Let's get into Am I Overreacting?
Are you kidding?
Am I overreacting?
I need to calm down.
5 years ago, I left a relationship with my then fiancé after realising that continuing the relationship and marrying him would have been the worst decision of my life. Since then, I've married a wonderful man and now we're expecting our first child. Life honestly turned out exactly how I hoped it would. Seriously, if you're in a terrible relationship, leave. But here is my issue. Yesterday, I found out that my ex has apparently been calling my mum and dad whenever he gets drunk, and my dad talks to him and gives him life advice. This has apparently been happening in secret for the last 4.5 years. The reason I found out is he randomly texted me out of nowhere after years of no contact. He started writing about how my family and his family made fun of my now husband. I blocked him immediately. I finally asked my mum about it yesterday and she basically admitted that my dad answers when he calls drunk because he feels bad for him. Am I overreacting for thinking this is really inappropriate for still maintaining a relationship with my ex?
Hell no.
What do you mean?
She's not overreacting.
Oh.
Don't pick up the call. And Dad's lying.
Well, Dad's clearly lying because he also knows stuff about the new fiancé husband and said that they happily make fun of him together.
Exactly. Dad's not just catching up with him. He doesn't just ring drunk sometimes. Dad's going to the pub with him.
I don't know.
Mum's catching up for lunch. They're secretly hoping that they can get old mate back into her life.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't. You might take the first call, 6 months after the relationship and hear him out and give some encouragement. But after that, you'd be blocking. You wouldn't be. It sounds like if Dad is actually giving him information that he remembers and then wants to reach out to her about, you're actually helping string this guy along. Like it is gonna come full circle and he is gonna get back into her life. Ooh.
No, how would you feel? Because I do know for a short time at the beginning of our relationship, my mum would bring up the one ex-girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. But that was in front of me.
And I never knew why she would do it. She'd just say things like, I ran into insert name here, I won't say it. And I could tell that it was never
Annoyed
anything.
me.
She would just say, I saw on Facebook they did this or whatever.
Yeah.
And it irked you.
Yeah. Well, I think if they're not having conversations about you to them, it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think any contact, I think we've always gone cold turkey with exes and you expect everyone in your life to not really have any contact with them anymore unless you have to, if you're in the same friendship group or something.
Or if you've got children with a person,
Yeah.
fair enough that your parents are going to
that's different.
speak to them.
That's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is just weird. You can't do that.
I used to get, and you probably knew this, I used to get super jealous when we first got together. You'd have some friends who would talk about your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
And it was mainly the guys would say it because they knew it would piss me off. And I remember.
Really?
I remember one night I got so annoyed about it.
Who was talking about?
It's a guy it was a friend that you don't even talk to anymore.
Right.
And I remember one night we were all drinking at your house and he kept on just bringing up these guys that you dated and stuff. And he knew it was annoying me. And then he said to me, he goes, why would you get with someone older than you if that's going to bother you?
Yeah.
I'd be like, because everyone likes to pretend that the people that you're with have never been with anyone else.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well, you don't want to compare yourself to the previous relationships. No. They didn't work out.
Yeah.
So there's a reason there. I was probably a little bit jealous of the girl that you had before because obviously your mum had known her and everything. You hadn't had a lot of girlfriends, but I also knew that she didn't want to break up. You broke up with her. to go and like live your life as a young guy, and then immediately got tied down to me. So I was
I moved city. I moved towns.
yeah. But she would have kept going out with you. Like she came to the house and dropped off your stuff and cried to your sisters and stuff.
Well, I wasn't living in the same place as her at the time.
No.
But we were also young, and I grew up in a small town, and we'd gone to school together all through
Yeah.
high school. So it was like, although it was a short relationship in terms of like being together, we'd been friends and we all
Yeah.
knew each other growing up. So
Yeah.
it was a bit different. So
I feel like my mum probably still brings up my exes sometimes, but it's more in a like making fun of them way.
I do remember one time when one of the first holidays I went on with your parents,
Yeah.
and we were staying at a small beach town near Coffs Harbour, and your ex-boyfriend at the time was working
Yes.
in a pharmacy
Yes.
at Coffs Harbour, and she
My mum and my sister went.
Yes.
And
found him.
yeah.
They went into town for no other
I
reason.
think they had to go to the chemist.
Oh, they did not. They did not. They're like, "Ooh, we've just got to pop into the chemist. It's an hour and a half drive, and we're just going to go and have a look and maybe pick up some sunscreen." Ah. Hey? One thing I know for sure is that if you and I broke up, you wouldn't need to worry about your mum talking to me
Why?
because she would cut me off.
Yeah, I think
If
yeah.
it was a bad breakup.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah.
And my whole family would turn on you. Half your family would turn on you.
What half wouldn't? It would turn on me. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, no, they'd all turn on me. They'd be like, look, it's been great having you since birth.
Your mum would be like, oh, Matt's been trying to ring me. I had to block him. Just kidding.
All right, one more before we wrap up. This one's an interesting one. I'm 32 years old. This is the female.
Yeah.
This one. I own 2 houses outright. I bought one 5 years ago before I met my now fiance, and one I inherited 2 years ago. I'm financially independent, and those properties are my main security. My fiance is 34 years old, and we've only been together for 3 years, but engaged for 8 months. We moved in together 2 years ago, and he lives rent-free in the house. He does pay for groceries and some utilities. I get that if you're engaged and there's no mortgage, you would think you'd have a savings fund together.
That's
maybe.
true, yeah.
He makes about half the money that I make. Well, he's landed himself a good fish there, hasn't he? Here is the issues with the logistics we're talking about post the wedding. He said if we're married, his name should be on the house deeds. It's not fair that he lives there but have no ownership. If we're equal partners, we should have equal on paper. I said no and have said that I wanted a prenup. He has 2 kids to a previous marriage. He pays for their private school and says it's a huge financial strain. He asked me to treat them like they're my kids and implied that I should help cover their schooling.
What?
He's also just dropped on me that he's about 40K in debt as well from a failed business.
Okie doke.
So she said, I'm uncomfortable merging our finances. Knowing this, he refuses to sign the prenup, so I've called off the wedding.
Yeah.
Am I
Smart girl.
overreacting?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't think she's overreacting at all. I think one of the main factors in divorce is finances. I'd say it's the number one. And so it's very important to be aligned on that.
Do you say because every time we try to go over our budget, it always ends
We
up in
get divorced.
some sort of argument?
No, but it is a stressful topic because it relates to every area of your life. Your finances will literally dictate your quality of living, your holidays, where your kids go to school, everything in your life, your healthcare coverage, everything, it's very important. And yes, she's coming into it with more than him and he's bringing debt and all of that. But if he said to her, keep the house in your name, but let's have a pool of money together and then, potentially my kids' schooling is paid out of that pool and things like that, that would be easier for her to swallow. I think when you're married, it doesn't matter. If you get divorced, the house will be half yours anyway, regardless of if it's in his name or not. So the fact that he's asking for that is kind of a red flag, as well as the fact that he didn't tell her about debt. Because I think that's another...
That's massive.
Yeah.
She probably would be more inclined to maybe want to get his name on the house had he been honest with that from the very start. Like, I feel like a $40,000 debt is something someone should know before you ask them to marry you.
Yes, correct.
Because two things. They have to take that debt on. It's going to
Yes.
decide on how their life moves forward. And secondly, if they don't love you after they find out about that,
Yeah,
you probably don't want to marry that person anyway.
correct. As far as the kids' schooling goes, well, that's like a separate issue. Like that should be their combined
Yeah.
sort of thing. But she doesn't have to contribute to that.
No, that's his responsibility.
Yes. And I mean, he's not even paying her rent at this point. So how can you say I'm contributing to the house? Like he might be paying utilities and for food, but on what planet are you not going to be paying? If he moved out tomorrow, he's paying rent.
Yeah.
So if he's really saying that, then he should be contributing towards, he should be paying something into a joint account for that, for the house.
It gets messy as well because I've heard stories before. Like I have a mate his dad works in finance and stuff like that. And he had a friend where when a couple got married, they know of that got married, they were young, and from that they were gifted a house from her parents.
Wow.
And it was a holiday house that had been in the family for years and years. So it had been
Wow.
passed down. So everything was fine between them. They trusted him implicitly. And then tragically, they both died in a car accident,
Wow.
which was really sad. And they didn't have any children for it to go to. Now, in the eyes of the law, and I really hope I'm repeating this properly, now when they looked at the time of death, she passed away first.
For him.
And then that means it automatically goes to him.
So
And
then
then
it goes to
he
his
passed
family.
away. And then everything he owns goes to his family. So his family get the holiday house that was a family house of hers, and they refused to give it back to her family.
Wow. Wow. That's a lot on both sides.
Yeah.
That's a lot on both sides. But the fact that it had to get to the nitty gritty of seeing who passed away first, that's incredibly sad.
Yeah. I don't know that I could in good conscience, if
No.
I was his family,
No.
keep
I
that house.
I'd really struggle to enjoy my spicy margs on the deck of my
Yeah.
beach house,
Yes.
knowing that I had only gotten it because,
Yeah.
yeah. I like a guilt-free spicy marg.
Oh.
That's why we go camping. 'Cause
Correct.
that's the level of rich we are. And you'll inherit my tent. Actually, I don't think it's even our tent. Do we own that tent?
No, it's our friend's tent. We just borrow it.
But yeah, no, I think that's really tricky because especially with generational money like that, I think it's
Yeah.
really hard to say, put up your hand and say, well, that's now mine,
Yeah.
you know. Look, I think it's really tricky. I actually am very thankful that we both came into it with nothing. I think it does get complicated. I've never seen it be a smooth road for people where someone's bringing in, you know, houses or wealth into a marriage, and then, you know, if things go badly, it's very messy.
Yeah.
We don't actually have prenups in Australia though.
No, yeah, it's not an Australian thing. But think of it this way, though. Would we have the same? It's a female who's got all the wealth. Would we have the same attitude to this if it was a man with all the wealth and a woman coming in wanting her name on there?
Well, I think if she had the debt and the ex-partner and the children that they're paying things for, I think it's circumstantial. Like if she was coming into it, she had no money, but she was working and just earning half what he was earning.
Yeah.
I think I'd feel about it the same. You know, I think you don't have to have your name on a property deed for it to end up being yours
Yeah.
in a divorce. So you're going into it with the expectation of this isn't going to last forever.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's a healthy way to start a marriage ever.
Is there a point in time where you've been married where it should shift? Just say someone puts 30 years into a marriage, right? Like, are they then able to be like, well,
Well, I think you're always entitled to half. I think you always are. But it's just, it's how much value each of you place on the money and the assets as well, outside of the actual relationship. Like, is the relationship the most important thing, or is it the money?
I mean, I always like to think that if we broke up, I would just tell you to take everything and go. But I just don't, like, that's
Not how it works.
the type of person I'd like to be, but I just don't know how much spite would take over.
Yeah.
I've
for
always
sure.
said,
Because when I show up with Felipe,
that's the thing. I don't want you to get a toy boy and then to see on your Instagram stories that you're shagging in Mykonos while I'm on my milk crate back at home.
I don't usually post shagging on the internet. But
Well, if you're in Mykonos with a younger guy, I think I know what you're up to. I'm just going to ask our friend ChatGPT. Prenuptial agreements legally binding in Australia? My ChatGPT must just think I'm off my head with the amount of different things I ask. In Australia, prenups are usually called binding financial agreements under family court. Yes, they can be legally binding. Okay, so everyone calls them prenups because
Yeah.
it's the American thing.
Yeah.
So yes, you can get them in Australia. This person can get one if they want one.
I do know of a girl that I used to work with who came into her marriage with 2 houses that she fully owned because her parents had both passed away, and they were primo Sydney real estate. So, like, you're not talking, a unit here. You're talking like houses in Glebe.
Jeez, that's a lot of
and
queen.
She still isn't divorced, but her and her husband haven't lived together for, I'm going to say, 10 years, because when they divorce, he will get half.
Is that the wedding we went to?
Yes, and he may actually ask her to sell those properties, but when they're still just living separately but not divorced,
okay, right.
she still owns the properties.
A common misconception is that a prenup guarantees you get to keep everything, when in reality it just reduces uncertainty, protects certain assets and businesses and inheritances. Okay. So I guess there would be, like, just say you have this agreement in place, as they call them here in Australia, binding financial agreements. I guess if you've been married for 50 years, they would probably break that down and go, well, this, just say you had all the property and I was working and I poured all my money into us living, you'd be able to probably go to court and go,
Sure. Contributed
we've
to
lived
our
off all of
lifestyle.
our money, so
Yeah.
I'm going to walk out with nothing, but you've got this asset.
Yeah. I also think karma is a bitch, right?
Oh, God, yeah.
So I think if say we had a lot of money and one of our children got married and we were just like not going to talk them into getting any sort of prenups or anything like that, and, then the marriage didn't work and that person took half or more of what our child had, I don't think I would be sad about that, because at the end of the day, karma will get you in those circumstances when you take more than what you should.
Correct.
From life.
Sorry if you can hear me banging around. The dog's just chewing on your headphones there.
Oh.
Stupid dog. On that note,
Do you know what? She actually ate half a block of chocolate yesterday too.
she did. Yes.
Rum.
Bundaberg rum chocolate.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah.
Can you
and
pick up
she's,
that little bit of
she's
plastic down
absolutely
there?
fine.
Sorry,
So-
that's your little earbud down there. Yeah, this morning I'm leaving for work at 4 a.m. and I've realised she's eaten half my block of Bundaberg rum chocolate.
And before anyone says anything, no, she's not hungry.
No,
She's very well fed.
she's a dog. She's a dumb dog. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. If you're a lawyer and you want to let us know that everything we've said in here is completely wrong, totally would love to hear from you. Underage Grandparents Podcast is our Instagram. Hit us up in the DMs there. We'd even be happy to talk to you about that.
Yeah.
Have a great one, guys. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye.
Bye.